I am using a lapel, or what is it? A lavalier mic. Hopefully it's decent. I'm not totally sure. And hopefully the music is low. So anyway, I'm going to try to stream daily for accountability purposes, but mostly, why not? It's just kind of fun. So I made this Gorgon. Some point long ago, I drew her. But I got these fun watercolor blocks, which I've never even used before. But the beauty of that is you can get pretty messy. You can get pretty. You use a lot of water, basically, and the page won't warp because it's glued down, which you can do yourself. But it's kind of wild. It's just a little bit more painstaking of a process, but it's easy. Let me see something real quick. I don't see where all my windows are. I'm trying to figure all this out. I'm not even painting yet. I can't figure stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna call this a coffee and a draw. I'm probably gonna start doing it at like 9 a.m. Just start my day this way. And see. Let's see where this is going. Anyway, let's see. Let's just go ahead and try to paint. There's my arm. I have arm hair, legit human. This is not AI. Although my arm hair is AI. That's a story for another day. So I did the background in this anyway with watercolor. I just went like crazy because I get all super wet. One thing I learned about painting is always put a wash layer first. No matter what, it just seems to help a lot with everything. Then I did sketch this originally smaller, and I got transfer paper, which I haven't even used since like the 1980s probably. Because usually what I do is I just scribble on the back with pencil and then whatever. I could redraw it, but the proportions on this were so good that I just liked it. Even use that same image for Harley Quinn, I believe, because I am a hack. And let's go ahead and put some paint on this Gorgon. See what's up. Like all of her, other than this snake here, like all the snakes were meant to kind of look happy. I don't know what brush you're going to use. It doesn't even really matter. This is just exercise in consistency. I know how to paint. Well, that's not true. Gouache is pretty new. I met a fella named Judd Mercer, who is pretty amazing. He was at a local comic shop. He's like a professional artist. I'm a local legend. Anyway, he was doing covers, comic book sketch covers, which I like to do. But he was doing them in gouache. And I've done some watercolor sketch covers. So this is my first step. What I do is I just grab a little bit of paint, and I'm gonna just kind of figure this out as I go. I have no idea what color this is gonna look like. Like I figured this would be light, cool. So I'm gonna start the exact opposite they tell you how to do things, and I'm gonna start with highlights because why not? That's capturing color pretty well. Cool. This brush is alright. Gouache is very, very great. Like the coverage The opacity and the creaminess of it is like crazy. Like I love the effects of watercolor. It's amazing. Um, like kind of the thin application of watercolor and whatnot. I should probably give this Gorgon some eye makeup. Maybe give her some purple. Be pretty funny. But anyway, what I like about gouache, um, just Holbein. Is it Holbein or Holbein? I don't even know. I'm such a bad artist. I don't even know the names of things. It's just a very good covering medium. I did start doing gouache on covers. That dude, like I was talking about, that guy who like showed me that. That dude is like a beast because you need water with gouache. Like you need it to be constantly just kind of wet to make it move. So that you run this really weird. You run a risk of screwing up. I mean, those comic book covers are Bristol board, so you really do run the risk of like destroying it if you are just not careful with the amount of water you use. So I'm gonna get it down. I'll be doing those on this stream too. Not this like particular stream, just as I do this daily. I'm gonna probably do all sorts of experiments. I don't think. Maybe I'll do some acrylic painting and stuff. I do have all the stuff to stream it, but I'd rather do more polished videos of that or time lapse. Let's be honest, it's not always fun to watch a slow process painting video. Unless the person is just ramped up on coffee, talking crazy. Let me drink some coffee. Ha! So it's picking up pretty good. The colors, it looks a little darker on screen, but so far not a bad test run. I can't help myself. I always have to do like weird stuff with colors, so it always works out in the end. This is the way I've always looked at it, because you can get discouraged quickly, especially if you haven't messed with art in your life. You're like, I'm a hobbyist. I'm gonna, go out and paint. It's gonna feel good, and it will. But then you go out and you buy this like cheap paint set, this cheap stuff. I mean, because you would. Why would you go out and spend like expensive, like your hard-earned money on like expensive paint and stuff if you're like, I don't even know if I like this. But let me tell you, if you buy beginner paints and stuff, you're gonna be frustrated. You're gonna think that you suck because the pigmentation is terrible. So you're gonna have to do like several coats. I don't know. It's a very frustrating process that I had to learn, because I seriously was like, I just suck at painting. I can't figure this out. And one day I decided to splurge. My homie, who was it? I think it was Dan Lucero. He told me, he was like, dude, you got to get it. First of all, he's like, I think it was, I was messing with watercolor and getting frustrated. He's like, first of all, you got to get expensive watercolor. Like, there's no ifs, ands, and buts around it. Like, just go ahead and get the highest pigmentation you can find, or like the best quality. Research it, whatever. And I did, and like, it immediately made me feel really good. Like I automatically already felt much better, because when you can cover, when you've got opacity, you can cover stuff and you can like play with it, get it to blend and work magic with it, then the frustration goes away and you realize you didn't suck. You just had bad paint. But that said, you can still do some pretty cool stuff with cheap paint, and like you can still get the therapeutic benefits of painting, which I think is like the whole point anyway, especially if you're just doing it as a release. It's been my therapy for like a long time. I guess technically I've only been painting for 30 years, but even that's like not really true because um, I didn't even really like start painting seriously for many years. That was just the first painting class I took in high school, which I think I hope my mom doesn't see this, but I think I ditched it a lot. Yeah, I think she knew that, but I ditched that painting class a lot because I was a senior and I did not need art to graduate. Um, so I made a calculated decision to ignore deadlines and stuff like that because I just didn't care at the time. I was 17. My brain was not even close to developed. Anywho. So I'm just kind of like layering a bunch of different greens. And so something important, like you got a bunch of different greens. Like this will all tie together eventually. Like right now, it's like kind of a weird mess. But you're gonna want to make sure if you're painting and stuff, something I just neglected. Um, doesn't really matter where this lands, how this works out. But if you've got like, if you're like me, I'm just kind of a chaotic painter. Like, I've just started mixing things together and using them. There's like no calculated anything here. So what I like to do though, for consistency, because you should always have balance in your work, I feel. I was taught that by a very good art teacher. Make sure to move that paint around all over, um, like a particular shade or whatnot, because if you have like if these snakes were a different green, I mean, they don't necessarily have to be the same. It's not like that important, but the eye notices stuff like that. So I am just, this doesn't even really matter. There's no like real reasoning for this other than this color matches the color of the shading just in a couple areas. So if you just have that little bit of consistency, your stuff like won't look weird or goofy, like, because it can look off if you have like different shades and stuff all over. Just a little bit of my reasoning on that. I don't know. As like I said, what my teacher taught me, my AP my AP art teacher. I failed AP art. That's hilarious. Again, I didn't need it to graduate, so I showed up. I worked all the time, drew all the time. It was the only class I really cared about senior year, but I missed some deadlines towards the end because I found Old English 800, and that seemed like way more fun. I always make really good decisions. So let's see, get this last little bit of this color of green in here before it disappears. The reason I do this too is like I said, I just kind of start mixing stuff and mixing stuff and mixing stuff. And if I don't do this, I'll lose this color. Like this color will be gone because there's like a little bit of blue in this. And I don't know. It's like I say, I just feel like it'll pull it all together later. This may be maybe something I pick up tomorrow too, because I don't know if I'm gonna get this all done in the amount of time I have allotted for this today. That doesn't matter. Art is never finished anyway, so. Ooh, see, that already got a little bit more blue there, which I like that dark. Bring it back into her lips a little bit, maybe the shading of her nostrils. See, and like that, I like went out of bounds. I made her nostril a little bit bigger than it was drawn, but it's paint. And guess what? There are no mistakes. Bob Ross told you this. Oh, Medusa. Like she was really misunderstood. She just wanted to crochet and stuff. Well, everybody had to bother her all the time. Alright, so I'm going to get the shading in here under the nose because the light source is coming down off top onto her brow, which you can't really tell yet because I need to fix some stuff, but like the thing I will honestly say that is super important, like you can hit a point like this point and be like, oh man, this looks like shit. But you always just got to keep working, man. Like just keep working on it because it's all layers, it's all shapes, it's all about tricking your brain into seeing stuff that maybe is or isn't there. But this is covering pretty good. I think that base layer too helps a lot. And it's weird because I've had this drawing for a couple of years now. Kind of just been drawing for years because I've just had so many ideas. And the cool thing about that is keep drawing those. If you ever have artist block, got like a pool of stuff to pull from. I still left these snakes over here without that color. That's hilarious. I'm telling you, I don't know what I'm telling you. And whatever I'm telling you, you probably shouldn't listen to me. Alrighty, let's see. I still have that color. So I've only used one brush this whole time, which I also think is a good technique if you're, especially if you're new, it'll teach you some stuff. If you get good with like a flat brush or like just a simple brush or just one brush before you start messing with others, it's really helpful, I feel like. Because you're just learning control and how to manipulate brushes and strokes and stuff too, which is pretty important. So I missed there's a little bit of this green over here, but like again, that won't totally matter. Don't listen. Just listen to what I say. Don't do as I do. I'm insane. And these greens still, they're not really like matching at this point, which is fine. It's not a big deal. Because again, all that can change pretty quickly. So over here, ooh, that's a little dark. That's all right. So when I do something like that and a little darker than I intended, it doesn't even really matter. I'll just go back over it. The first layer is always, for me, it's just kind of about throwing stuff down and getting a flow for stuff and like kind of seeing where you want to take it, what needs to happen, because even when you're sitting here doing this, it's not until you walk away and come back to it that you're going to notice something's off. I mean, for me, that's Probably not true for everybody, but because yeah, it like doesn't really pull together at this point. That's alright. Once I get these planes figured out a little bit, kind of hashed out, and then I can figure out the rest pretty simply. It's pretty unnatural too to have like a camera hovering over your workspace and continuously talking. But I worked customer service in the early 2000s at a call center, so I am trained to not have dead air. If anyone's worked in a call center, they know what I'm talking about. Or as my buddy used to call it, like, we basically was like, it's basically the nightclub, at least in Aurora, where I was living. It was pretty entertaining, to say the least. All right, so it's shaping up a little bit better. Sometimes with stuff like this too, I'm not totally a natural at shading. I mean, like, I'm really good at shading and stuff, but this is like sometimes I'm a hack and I just know how certain shading falls on the face. This, however, the way I drew this, whatever reference I might have used, because I'm sure I used a reference, I didn't capture the lighting particularly well, which means I was probably very tired or something. Which again, whatever, no biggie. So this is one that I will have to maybe look at the planes a little bit again to make sure I've got the lighting somewhat correct. Like, I don't mind if lighting's a little bit off, if it still looks cool. Like, a lot of people don't notice that anyway. It's not really that big of a deal. But it bothers me when it bothers me, and I'm not gonna release junk, so to speak. And again, now I'm just adding a little bit of this highlight color on these snakes, even though, who knows, by the time I'm done, these snakes might be blue or something. That's funny. She kind of looks like she has a mask. She is taking care of her skin. It's so scaly and dry, she said. Weird. Somehow that did not mix well. Tray. Alrighty, so this one is, I think with some, I think we're missing some like pretty, well, for one, we're kind of missing some highlight. But we're definitely, you're a part of this now. You're one of the unfortunate souls that's watching this. I think if I add some darks in this, it's gonna look Really cool. Gouache is different. It's a different animal. I quite enjoy it though, as I've stated. This Medusa has a little bit of a pronounced chin. I don't know why, man. Just who she is, I guess. A little bit of this blue in here. Down on the neck. And I'll help it. It'll just help overall. It's kind of weird to. It's kind of weird for me to do her green. It's very un-Johnny-like. I should have did a red Medusa. Something else. Something for the ages, as it were. The snakes too, I definitely need to reference them a little bit. Like most of them look pretty cool. This guy looks weird right here. I don't know why, he cracks me up. I'm like, ah! But I feel like maybe he's super happy. He just won the snake lottery. He gets to live on someone's head. That would suck. And no snake is this color green. But that's alright, man. Actually, they probably are. I like those super lime green, like construction warning snakes. They're pretty cool. Like, hey, man. If you mess up, you step on me. I warned you, bro. I had a construction jacket on. What the hell did you think I was trying to tell you? Classic snakes. Spreading some color around again. It's kind of funny because one of the first times I heard of gouache was when my friend Pete Duggins showed me this freaking snake he did. Or I shouldn't even say a snake. It's like a coil of like 100 snakes or something. And to this day, I look at that. Every time I look at it, I just want to quit. It's so freaking rad. Let me tell you, painting fine lines with a lot of coffee in your system it's a fun challenge. And reshape the nose there to make it more proportionate, give it a little bit more shadow. Then bring this blue back in and kind of fix this nostril here. That's dark. Whatever. I have like a way finer brush. I don't know why I'm doing this. The fatter brush for the details, but it's because, again, this is just about commitment and painting something or drawing something every morning is a warm-up before I get into the rest of this stuff for the day. This is just better than starting with like business stuff. And the fun thing about this too, if I were to not get this detailed out the way I want it to. All I have to do is add lines to it, line work, and even like colored pencils and stuff. I can make this look pretty damn good if I can't do it with gouache alone, but I know I can. It's just I don't know why I bit off snakes as a practice fucking subject. Hey man, you want to draw snakes? But you know what? That's kind of what I've been doing the last 5-6 years. Is anytime I think of something, I'm like, oh my god, I don't ever want to draw that. Like, well, I know what I'm drawing next. Like flowers. You'll notice a lot of my work from 2020 to now is like there's a lot of flowers because I was like, I'm never gonna draw flowers. That's weird, corny. And I did, and yay. They're really fun to draw. There are a few highlights on this again, because I feel like I want to see some. It's not the detail I would like to see yet. It's not at the stage that I'm happy with yet. And sometimes they never get there. But I think this one will. Just because I am a fan of the Gorgon. A fan of the power, really. It'd be really fun to just turn people to stone for no reason. Like, I'd have to be able to turn them back, though. Because I'd feel like bad just leaving people. Like, I would use it at the supermarket at dinner time, like when you accidentally go it. And cats are all like, or when there's like a snowstorm coming, everybody's like, I have to pretend like to be snowed in for 17 years. I'd use it then and freeze everybody and get my shopping done and bounce, and then unfreeze them. In case you ever wondered what would Johnny do if he was a Medusa? Pretty sure that's what we're all asking ourselves every day. Alright, I might mute myself and turn up the tunes a little bit and kind of work on this a little bit more. Because I'm pretty sure no one's watching this anyway. Just kidding. Everyone's watching this. This is the greatest day of your life.
And what did the great man of science have to say today? More of the usual?
Oh, he's trying, Ben, just like the rest of us.
And nothing works. The streets are swarming with truckloads of bodies that they're throwing into that god-awful pit. And the dedicated Dr. Mercer goes on with his plodding, unimaginative approach.
You have a better idea?
Maybe. At least it involves imagination.
Ben, it's as simple as this. An unknown germ is being blown around the world. It's highly contagious and it's reached plague proportions.
And you don't believe some of the dead have come back?
Well, let's get to work.
You may have noticed that I have the tag on the brush still. We keep shit hood in Aurora, Colorado, man. Just keep it on fleek. Keep the tags on my brushes. Why not? I actually have no idea why I never took the tag off this brush. I've had this brush for like 8 years. It still has the tag on it. Like, why? I remembered that the underside of snakes is like a lighter color. Again, I don't know. A lot of times I don't. I'll use references, but a lot of times I just go off my brain, off memory. It's kind of a fun way to do stuff, but also weird. But luckily with like this, it's so opaque that you can just go in and fix stuff. And just the underpainting to kind of get a feel for what's going on. So not like the biggest deal in the world. It was just kind of funny I noticed that. But anyway, that's all. Enjoy music.
What about some music? Professor, I'm very grateful to you for your courtesy, but you don't like music? Not very much. Oh, but Commander, music is language, the language of the bodies in space. Have you never heard of Pythagoras? The harmony of the spheres, the language of numbers?
The only tip I can really give you about painting snakes is don't ever paint snakes. Just pick other stuff. It's a lot easier. That's all. I'm gonna go ahead and call this practice stream good. Got a good underpainting going. And I can kind of sort out the rest and figure it out. Finish it maybe tomorrow on the next stream, unless I decide to paint something totally different tomorrow. This is a bit of a challenge, but yeah, I like how it started. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful day, and don't forget to drink a gallon of coffee.